This video, I will argue that research-based teaching and learning is one way that we make our teaching better. This idea is rooted in the notion that research results, practices, and processes are beneficial to teaching and learning. This is completely then in line with the knowledge tradition that modern universities and colleges stand in. Ours is a tradition that consists of mainly of many things, and none of all of those things are that good, but our tradition is one that has been shaped by curiosity and knowledge-hungry researchers who have patiently and passionately sought new knowledge about the unknown. This is perhaps an idealized image of what it's like being a researcher. As many of you know, it can be an incredibly trying undertaking that not only eats away at your mood, but also your physical well-being. That said, we believe that this is an idea worth pursuing. Some reasons are because it creates higher quality and credibility in education, since the knowledge that is conveyed is based on good scientific practice and theories and methods. But it is also important because it invites the students to become part of the research process themselves and thus also potentially contribute to the creation of new knowledge. If you are taking the course on research-based teaching and learning as one of your elective courses going forward, we will go into this further. But briefly, I would like to emphasize that what we describe as research-based teaching and learning is not just one thing. Research-based teaching and learning actually involves 5 different things, and I will go through these now one by one. So first, research-based teaching and learning can mean that it is research-led. This means that the teaching that is delivered and also much of the literature that the students are asked to read is based on the latest and the most relevant research within a subject area. Teaching is then organized in such a way that it corresponds to the research interests of the research area and the educators themselves. Here, the focus is on teaching the latest research on a particular topic. Then, teaching as research-oriented goes deeper into the same research findings, but this time the focus shifts to the methods and practices that make these findings possible. Here, students are given theoretical knowledge about how research works. The student gets deeper insights into the basics of what is then being discussed because they understand the theories and the methods used in order to develop new knowledge. Then we have teaching as research two-third. The focus now shifts from the educator to the students and their efforts to review their own learning and research. This means that the focus is primarily on peer learning, where students critically review each other's text and works. Thus, the focus is on inviting them to be part of a kind of peer review process, which is a necessary element of doing good research. Teaching as inquiry-based means that students take a greater role in being part of the research processes themselves, which they were not allowed to do in the previous perspectives. Here, teaching is mainly focused on students acting as researchers themselves. The distance between educators and students is accordingly reduced as the educator gives more responsibility to the students in the learning process. The clearest example of this kind of teaching is when students write their thesis, which you will also do going forward. And finally, teaching can also be research informed. This means that educators adopt the latest research on teaching and learning, the scholarship of teaching and learning, in order to better develop their own teaching. Thus, teaching as a research subject becomes the focus, and educators strive to develop their teaching according to evidence-based methods and models that have been shown to benefit student learning. If you take the elective course on research-based teaching and learning, you will get a chance to learn more about all of these. But what you want you to take away from this small discussion here are 2 things. So first of all, as I said a moment ago, research-based learning is more than one thing. It involves many different aspects of teaching and learning, and educators, one of these things will thus make their teaching research based on a certain level. Second, you become a better educator by making your teaching research-based. I believe that we in higher education have a responsibility to strive for knowledge at the highest level, to use evidence-based methods to build up our teaching, to share knowledge about how research processes work, and to invite students to adopt these for their own learning. And it is also important that we take the time to share our experiences and practices, where we use methods and theories that contribute to the advancement of research on higher education. Few educators can implement all 5 forms of research-based teaching in their work, but everyone should strive to do something. Then, in the next video, I will go into another thing that makes higher teaching better by making it more inclusive. See you there.